Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Alright, so we are ready to continue here with our menu. So this menu is quite large, going up and down, and the font is a little too big for my liking, so I'm just saying you could edit the CSS here if you want to. Now the last time I tried to edit the height here, it turned out the menu wasn't really getting very close to the buttons, and when that happens, if there's a gap between them, it becomes difficult to maintain this drop down mega menu here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If we go to the plugins, let's go to main menu plugin, and inside the views, let's look at menu. Okay, so if we go down here, there's a height requirement here, so let's try and put this at 50 pixels, for example. So of course, go through the CSS here and see what things you can change. Just try to mess things around and see what changes when you change what. Okay, I kind of like this, and maybe even the font size can work as it is like this. But if you want to change the font size, of course, you can just type in a new font size. Like from here, you can say font size 12 pixels, maybe something like that. Let's see how that looks. That didn't change much, so probably we should move. Maybe there is font size. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this font size for the logo here, let me see. Okay, so there's this font size here. I'm guessing that's for the navigation. So if I put it down to 16 instead of 18 there, and there it is. So like that, it fits more of this content here, which is great. But now we have this gap here, which means if I hover on this and try to go here, sometimes that disappears because of that gap. So if you look at the CSS here, there's that part where I change the height. You can change other things too. Maybe, I don't know about line height, but there should be one yes, this one right here, where the top is there's a value for the top here, which is 70, just like the height of the, this has to follow the height of the menu itself. You could use variables so that once you change one, the other can change as well, but I think this will do just fine. So as you can see, that gap is gone now. We can do the drop down and it works just fine. Okay, great stuff. So far so good. And then the logo can come from the website itself. But for now, I kind of like this logo that's there. I think it's just text, probably. Let's go here and have a look. Yeah, it's just text for now, but you could put a logo there. Normally, you put the logo in the entire project, but you could put the logo file in here and get it from there. So we have inside main menu, we do have this images folder. So you can put a logo in there, and we will do that probably in a later video so that we see how that works. Okay, so for now, let's deal with the menus themselves. So what we want is to be able to edit these links over here so that these are dynamic links. We can add them on the admin section. So let me click here. Wait a minute. I'll click here. Okay, so we have this menu area over here. Now, the important thing to remember is to look at what possible columns we could have in the database to get this kind of layout. So as you make different menu versions, you can use different tables if you want, so that if the menus, for example, are very different, then you could use different table names, so that when you install that that plugin, you also run a migration for that specific table, and so on. Or you could use one table for all the menus you're creating, just make them universal, put all the columns that you may need for in different kinds of tables, so that you always use just the menu table for your menu. So it depends what you really want to do. So in this case, what I'm looking at is we have this format right here. So the current columns we have are working here. They're not really columns, but these are the, if I go to, let's say, basic admin, for example, if I go to that plugin here, there's a part where I add a menu item. This is the part here, is it? Yes. So if you look at this, this is basically what we need to add in the database to follow this format. So we should have a column named title, a link over here, and the icon, but we should add one extra, which is image, because here I have seen an image on the mega menu here, and so I think it would be a good idea to put image there. And also, not just because of this, there's times when, let's say for example, on this button here where it says hi admin, you may want to put an image of the user that's currently logged in, right? So in order to do that, we need an image column. So those are the columns we will need. So for now, let me just grab this one over here. I'll copy that just to a new, just so I can keep tabs on the column names here. So the first column name is title, and the next is link. So let's put those on there. Then there's icon, and then there is parent. Now parent is important because it's the one that creates the hierarchy here. So for example, these buttons that are here will have their these buttons here will say parent is this one. So that's how we know these belong here, because their parent will be set to the ID of this item right there. So in the same way, we have a mega menu here, right? Now what we're going to do, looking at this very particular design, we can put an image on this mega menu thing. Wait. Okay, so this creates another issue. Okay, so you may want an image here on the mega menu, and you may want an image over here as well. So it's possible you may want one image here to show and not here to show. So which means we may need to put two image columns here. And then, because just having a drop down like this, there are two versions of the drop down menu. There's this one and the mega menu. So we need to tell the difference, if this is a mega menu or not. So we can put a column like that. So let's come down here and say, we can call it is mega or something like that, just so we know if this is true or false. Then it's a mega menu like this, and then parent will tell us whether it's a drop down menu. So if it's got children, then it's a drop down, but if it's got children and then it's is mega is true, then it's a mega menu. That's how we can tell the difference between those. And then let's put image as well. Now this image will be for the button there. So, and then we can have another one for mega image like that. So there's image, and there's mega image, and there's also icon. So you can choose which one is prioritized, because it's possible the user can add, or you can add an icon and add an image at the same time. So we'll just assume that if there's an icon and an image, we'll prioritize the image instead, because these two should live at the same location. Okay, so mega image right there, that's good. And also we need to know whether this is enabled or disabled. That way we don't have to delete a menu item in order to just hide it for a moment, because certain times you may want to just hide a menu item without deleting it. Okay, let's look for other things. Now, when I drop down here, there are these titles over here. So there's a title here and another title here, and under this title there's stuff there. So you could be tempted to think, oh, you know, we need to put maybe another table to list these titles over here. But remember, these titles can just be like the drop down items here. So whenever we say this is a mega menu, we replace the kids of this mega menu, these ones right here, with these over here. And then those guys will have their own kids down here. So just by using this column named parent, we can actually achieve all of that. So we'll see how we go about doing that. So I think that actually solves the problem. Oh, there's one more. We need the, what's this? The permissions. Okay, so let me go back here and see what's happening. Okay, so we have links, bottom links. What's this? Okay. Wait. Website home. Why are these called bottom links? So it seems I completely forgot about these guys. They should be... Let's see. Earth. Oh, this is for the admin. Okay. I see what these are for. Alright, so... Though these are for the admin section, right? Let me look for the... let's go to basic auth. This is the one that has the ones for the main menu. Okay, so there they are. They do have a permission there, so that's great. So this one is called slug instead of link. Yeah, I don't know why I coded this, but it still makes sense. So let's do that. Let's replace a link with slug. You know, having universal stuff is important, so I should have used slug everywhere. But actually link is more appropriate here. The problem is I've already done this, which I can actually change, so not really a problem. Okay, I'll leave it as slug like that. Now the reason link is more appropriate is because sometimes you may want to link to an external website. So it won't just be a slug like part of the link, but yeah, let's just leave it as slug for now since we started using that anyway. But you can change it to whatever you want. So permission is there, that's good. Slug icon. Okay. So images will be considered optional, so we should always check if they exist or not. Alright, so with that in mind, we are good to go. So what I'm going to do now is let me move this over like this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create okay, let me leave these guys for now here. Let's create a migration file now. So inside migrations here, we don't have a migration file. Mute these guys. So we don't have a migration file here. So all we need to do is generate it. So I'm going to open this folder, copy that link, do a command line prompt, and then change directory to it. Let me clear the screen. And so what I want to do now is say PHP thunder make migration. Alright, so we are making a migration inside a very specific plugin called main menu. And then inside there we want to name our, this one is just going to be called menu like this. That's the migration file. Maybe we call it menus, the table name. Could be menu, could be menus. It's entirely up to you. So there we go. Migration file created. So there it is. Great. Now let's look at that. Here it is. Very goody. Now let's go to models here, and inside we want a very specific model, just one of these. So I'm going to create a model. So same process, PHP thunder make model. That's inside the main menu plugin, and we're going to call this one menu like this as singular. And there we go. that was created as well. So now we have a new model here called menu and proper namespace there. That's great. But I want to delete the others here because we don't really need the other classes here like user roles and stuff. So I'm going to right click and delete file, right click and delete file. I'm not sure about the user.php. Will we need this? Probably not, because we are not saving anything there either. So let's delete that. That way we just have the menu model there. If we need it, we're gonna bring it back, but I don't think we will. Okay, so this is the menu thingy, and of course we need to tell it what okay, so everything looks good. We need to tell it what columns are allowed here, and of course these are the columns. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. Now some of these are deleted column. No, we won't be needing any of this stuff. So let me paste like so. Move this over, and I want to do that. And do the same thing over here. Boom. Now we could actually, if you've got a lot of let me show you some tricks here. If you've got a lot of columns like this, because I've dealt with very big projects where you have as many as 300 columns for a table, so it can be a pain to do this if you've got 300 tables and stuff. So what you can do is use the regex search function here. So if you go down here to Sublime Text, on the very corner here, bottom left, you see there's this regular expression button here. So you make sure that's on, and then you can just run a regex here and just say select the first letter of, at the beginning, the first letter here. So you put a caret there, the thing that points up, and then you say bracket A to Z and then close that. So as you can see now, it has selected every first letter here. Now if you want to select the last letter, you remove that caret, and at the end here you just put a $sign, then that selects the very last letter. But we can do selecting the last letter by starting with the first and then just pressing the end key to go to the end. So once we do that, I can just say find all. I'll click on find all here, and that selects all of these guys. Then I can move with my arrows now to the left and then put a quote like that, and then press the end button on my keyboard and put another quote and a comma like that. So by doing this, you can edit hundreds of lines, or in a second, in a split second. So let's paste that and replace that like so. That should do. So let me grab this, copy. Let's go down here and repeat the same thing. Paste. Awesomeness. This is great. This is great. Okay, now the validation for the insert here. We want to, now it's up to you to decide whether menu items can be repeated or not, or if you want to curb that. Maybe you don't want repeats. But what we are really interested in really is the title. For as long as a menu item has a title, I think it works. So let's select all these written email, even in the update version here, and change that to title. Okay. So, and let's grab every instance of this capitalized email and change that to title as well. So the title is the only thing we are concerned about. So here we say title is required. Great if it's empty and the title already in use. I think that can be useful if you want you don't want titles repeated. And then over here we'll say we don't need this filter to. Now if you don't want strange characters in the titles, for example, you can put a preg match here instead. So let's use preg match. Let me duplicate that because it's on two places. Let's say preg match over here, and we will put a pattern like that. Oops. And then the subject is, what is the subject? Data. Title. Okay, so title is not valid. Now it's a good idea here to trim this, because if there's emptiness, sometimes it can mess with what you're trying to do. So let's do a trim like this, and we should match that closing bracket like so. Okay, so what will constitute a valid title? Well, A to Z, capital A to capital Z, and then close that, put a plus, and put a $sign for the end, and put a caret for the beginning, so that it evaluates the whole text. So in there, maybe you can put spaces. So let's leave a space so that we allow spaces. We can put dashes as well, like this, but you just have to escape this dash just to make sure it's taken as a literal value. So you can specify whatever special characters you want in here just by escaping and putting that character. So if I escape and put a hash, then I allow that as part of menu title, or /_ something like this. Though underscore, I don't think you need a slash. It can work just by putting it like that. So it may happen that you don't allow certain characters, but then you realize you need them in the end, so you can always come back here and add them to the list. Okay, so instead of saying title is not valid, you can say title does not allow special characters, or something like that. Okay, so we have our error fighting stuff. Now let's go to here. So this is also the part where we want to generate this. Now, as you can see, now ID is always required, so I'll leave that out. These guys did created, usually they're allowed or needed, but not in this case. So I'm going to remove these guys, same as I will do here. I will change deleted to, what do I change it to? Disabled instead, like that, so that I know when it's active or inactive. Now, do we want to add any stuff here? I don't think so. So no initial values should be in the database, so let's move that out. And what else? More keys, we don't need these more keys, out. Okay, so that works, but we don't need this in between, so I'm going to remove that as well. So from here I will grab this up to there, and then I will go to my columns here. So exactly the same thing. If I go and find, I can put a caret and then a quote. That way I find the very first quote here and say find all, and then move my arrow. That way I can paste like this, and then I can go to the end by pressing the end button and then move one step, close that, put a semicolon instead, and delete the comma. And then if I use control left and then control right again, that puts me right there where there's the start of the end of each word or each column name. Then I can put a space and actually type something. So what I would do, let's say in a situation where you have 100 columns, you look at which data type is more common here for batch editing, so that you add that one first, and then you go in one by one to edit the type for each one of these. So here, title, usually here this is variable character. That's very common here. A title for a menu, I think you can limit maybe to 30 characters. I'm not sure, it's up to you, maybe 50, like that. And let's make sure it allows emptiness, so let's put no there, like that. Oops, what am I doing? Alright, that's great. So things like parent, for example, will have tiny int instead, because, oh no, not actually tiny int, but int, like this. So we don't want to put a length there, but int is 10 if it's not, if it's unsigned. So you can say, oh, wait, what am I doing? I think I'm getting lost here. Ah, okay, no, that's correct. That's correct. Okay, then I can put unsigned here. It's not important. Why do I keep pressing this? It's not important to put unsigned here, because when you do unsigned, it just means the numbers in here you're expecting only positive values. So you can do that. It's not really necessary. It doesn't really save you a lot of space either. So just do it if you want. So parent there, int. Okay, you could put a default value here, like that. Default 0, usually a good idea for certain databases that refuse to enter a null if it's int maybe. So default, I forgot a T there. Okay, so is mega is the same thing. Now this one will be tiny int, because I don't want it to take so much space. Then I'll put a length of 1, and let's put a default 0 here as well, like that. So once you put default 0, you don't really need the null here, but we'll just leave it there. Image is variable character. So here we are putting a link to an actual, so select these two, a link to an actual image. So I'll say 10 to 1024 should be enough depending on the links you have. Is a fighter jet. Yeah, that's a fighter jet. Okay, so disabled here, we'll do tiny int, tiny, careful with this nm here, tiny int 1, and let's do, that's not actually a fighter jet, that's a passenger jet. Okay, you can put unsigned as well on these tiny int. Where is this? Is mega. I can put unsigned here just after the int name there, and also let's say here I can do the same thing, unsigned, and put this default 0. Okay, permission. Now permission is variable character. Now in order to know what the length should be for permission here is to just think what would be the probably the longest permission you can allow. Let's put it at 100. You never know, permissions can get out of control, so you might reach 100 in length. Okay, I think that does it. Now the slug is the link here, so some links can get really long, but it's good to avoid those. But let's just put 100 there, or you can put 255 depending. This one also is the icon classes. You never know, some classes could be long, I don't know. Put 100 or 50 or something. Okay, parent. So parent will store the ID of the parent. So parent should be the same type as the ID, which in our case is int, so that's good enough. Okay, I think this does our thing pretty well. Let's see, I'll put this last. Okay, so all I do now is copy this into my migration file over here and paste. So put that there, and very good. So that's the important stuff here. Now you could put keys here like I have done. Oh, so disabled is already here. That's great. So I can just remove it from here. What else? what could be important? Maybe for the sake of searching, we could key this one as well, title, so that in case you have a lot of these, you can easily do a search. Okay, cool. This looks good enough. Let me remove that. And so now we can run our migration and things will be great. So let me go back to the plugin.php. Since we disabled this part here, let me enable it now, like so. Okay, that way it checks for this table. Now the table has changed to menus like that, and so let's change it as required. So if I now come to this and refresh, I will get that warning. It says missing database tables in main menu plugin. That's the table that's missing. Okay, cool. So since it's missing, we can just run a migration to run every single table in there. So we'll just say PHP thunder, and then we say migrate, and we are migrating the main menu plugin so that whatever migration files are in there will be migrated instantly. Or we can specify a very specific file name by just copying it from there and putting it after a space. Either way, we'll do exactly the same thing in this case. So press enter. So there we go. Menus, table menus created successfully. So now if I refresh, we are good to go. Look at that. Now we could go ahead and check the table itself, how things have been created in there. Let me go down to the plugin PHP. So we have menus table over here. If I click on that, this is what we got. You can check the structure to make sure everything is as intended. Okay, great. So things are looking up now. So with this, now we can go to the admin section and do some stuff. So there's an error here. It says users manager user not found. Where? Oh, that's because there's references to it in the ones I deleted. I shouldn't have deleted them too early, but that's fine anyway. Okay, so this is in the wait, what did I do? Oh no. Okay, no, it's in the main menu plugin, so that's fine. This is where the error is coming from. So this is okay. We're gonna fix this without a hitch. Alright guys, so far so good. I will see you in the next video where we actually start adding menu items here. We create that CRUD process. Alright, see you in the next video.